The world is full of extraordinary events, but some are so exceptional that they will never be repeated. These events have left an indelible mark on history and continue to captivate the imagination with their uniqueness. Smallpox, one of the most dangerous diseases in history, was eradicated thanks to the invention of the vaccine in the 18th century. For centuries, the disease claimed the lives of both common people and royalty, seeming invincible. However, mass vaccination nearly wiped out the virus. The last natural case was recorded in Somalia in 1977, and 3 years later, the WHO officially declared smallpox eradicated. The mystery of D.B. Cooper remains the only unsolved case of airplane hijacking in history. In November 1971, an ordinary man using the alias D.B. Cooper boarded a plane in Portland with a briefcase that supposedly contained a bomb. He demanded a ransom of $200,000 and 4 parachutes. After receiving the money and releasing the passengers, he forced the crew to fly at a low speed. Somewhere over the forests, he parachuted out and disappeared. Neither he, nor the money, nor any evidence has been found to this day. The laughing epidemic that began in 1962 in a small African village became the strangest epidemic in history. 3 schoolgirls suddenly started laughing uncontrollably. The laughter spread to other students and then to neighbouring villages. The laughter was painful and accompanied by tears, making it more of a torment. The epidemic affected about 1,000 people and lasted for 18 months. To this day, there is no definitive explanation for the phenomenon, but it is believed to have been a case of mass hysteria triggered by stress. The London beer flood occurred in October 1814 when a massive vat containing 610,000 litres of ale exploded at the Muir and Company brewery. The powerful wave destroyed the brewery walls and flooded the streets of a poor neighbourhood. As a result, 9 people died, buried in the frothy river of beer. The court ruled the incident a natural disaster and no one was held accountable. This event remains unique in its kind. Cavalry against ships, a unique event that took place in January 1795 when the French army captured a Dutch fleet using cavalry. The winter was so harsh that the ships were frozen in ice. French hussars silently approached the ships under cover of darkness and surrounded them. By morning, the Dutch sailors found themselves captured by cavalry. Surrendering without a fight, they handed over 14 ships of the line and numerous other vessels to the French. Mike, the headless chicken, became a local celebrity after a Colorado farmer accidentally decapitated him in 1945. It turned out that vital blood vessels and part of the brain remained intact. The farmer fed him through a tube and the chicken even attempted to crow. The case so astonished the world that Mike was taken on tour, becoming a symbol of unusual biological phenomena. The snowstorm in the Sahara that occurred in January 1979 was a unique event when the world's largest desert was briefly covered in a white blanket. The snowstorm lasted about half an hour, and although the snow soon melted, the event stunned meteorologists. Snow has fallen in the Sahara a few times since, but that first instance remains unique due to its unexpectedness. The Fire Rain Festival in Iceland, caused by the eruption of the Laki volcano in 1783, led to the most unusual festival in history. Glowing rains of ash and lava appeared in the sky, and the air was filled with sulfur gas. The eruption lasted 8 months and became the largest volcanic event in the past 1,000 years. It caused global climate changes, affected crops in Europe, and even contributed to famine and unrest in France. A herd of elephants paying tribute to their saviour occurred in 2012 in South Africa. 2 herds of wild elephants travelled for 12 hours to pay their last respects to conservationist Lawrence Anthony, who had saved them from poachers. After his death, the animals, as if sensing it, came to his home. This remarkable display of animal intelligence and gratitude touched millions worldwide. Tsutomu Yamaguchi is the only officially recognised person to have survived both atomic bombings in Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1945. On August 8th, Yamaguchi was in Hiroshima on business when the first atomic bomb exploded. Suffering burns and injuries, he returned home to Nagasaki, where he experienced the second bombing 3 days later. Despite this, he lived a long life, reaching the age of 93. The kangaroo battle against humans, which took place in 1932 in Australia, became the most unusual battle in history. After World War I, farmers complained about kangaroo herds destroying crops. To solve the problem, the Australian government sent soldiers with machine guns. However, the kangaroos proved too fast and agile, and the battle ended in complete failure. The war ended unsuccessfully, and the kangaroos continued living as usual. The singing of blue whales in altered tones, observed by scientists in the early 21st century, remains a mystery. The frequency of their songs has decreased, and there is still no definitive explanation for why this happened. It may be related to global warming, rising ocean levels, or increased noise pollution. This is the first time in history that the sounds produced by animals have changed so noticeably on a global scale. The dancing plague in Strasbourg, which occurred in 1518, was one of the strangest epidemics in history. Several hundred people began dancing uncontrollably in the streets. This continued for days and weeks, with some participants dying from exhaustion or heart attacks. Scientists still debate whether it was mass hysteria caused by stress or ergot poisoning, a fungus that may have contaminated food. The jellyfish rain that occurred in 1894 in Bath, England, was a unique natural phenomenon. Residents witnessed jellyfish falling from the sky along with the rain. Scientists believe a strong storm or tornado lifted the jellyfish from a nearby body of water and carried them into the air. This rain remains a mystery, and nothing like it has happened since. The disappearance of the Eilean Moor lighthouse keepers in 1900 remains one of the most mysterious maritime mysteries. On the Scottish island of Eilean Moor, 3 lighthouse keepers vanished without a trace. Only strange signs were left behind: open doors, scattered belongings, and a logbook recording a severe storm that never actually occurred. The keeper's disappearance remains unsolved. The Bridge of Bodies during the Battle of Clontarf in 1014 in Ireland is the only recorded instance where the bodies of the dead were used as an improvised bridge. In the battle, the forces of King Brian Boru fought against the Vikings. The Viking assault was so fierce that they literally filled the river with bodies. To cross, warriors used the corpses as a bridge. This moment became a symbol of both the brutality and self-sacrifice of war. The tree that survived the atomic bombing of Hiroshima in 1945 became a symbol of resilience and rebirth. Among the ruins, a 500-year-old ginkgo tree survived and continued to grow, becoming a symbol of hope. Today, this tree, known as the Hiroshima ginkgo, is considered one of the most unique natural phenomena in the world. The double eclipse in one place, which occurred on March 7, 1970, in Nantucket, USA, was a rare astronomical event. Residents witnessed a total solar eclipse followed by a lunar eclipse on the same day. This happened due to the perfect alignment of the Earth, Moon, and Sun. The event is considered unique, as the likelihood of such a coincidence in one location is extremely low. The Wasp battle during the Davis Cup in 1935 at Wimbledon became the only instance where a match was halted due to insects. Players and spectators were attacked by a swarm of wasps, forcing the match to be suspended. The players tried to continue, but the swarm was so aggressive that organisers decided to postpone the match. This became a unique event in the tournament's history. The never-falling fire in Antarctica, observed in 1993, was a mysterious phenomenon. Scientists from a research team noticed a faint flicker in the sky above the ice, which upon closer inspection turned out to be fire. This fire burned in the atmosphere but did not move or extinguish. It was later determined to be caused by a rare combination of electrical charges, cold air, and sunlight. The phenomenon has never been repeated. The people who slept for 70 years. A strange case that occurred in 1815 in Norway. A group of people seeking shelter from a storm in a cave fell asleep and woke up 70 years later. The elderly who remembered them were horrified to see that they had not aged a day. Although scientists suggest the story is a myth, it remains one of the most mystical legends about frozen people. The longest non-stop bird flight, achieved by a female bar-tailed godwit from New Zealand in 2007, set a record. The bird, named E7, flew 11,680 kilometres without stopping from Alaska to New Zealand in 8 days. This feat was documented using a satellite tracker, and scientists continue to marvel at its endurance. This event remains unique in the world of ornithology. The walking stones, a unique phenomenon observed in Death Valley, USA. On a dried-up lake, stones move across the surface, leaving trails behind them. In 2014, scientists proved that this is caused by a combination of rare weather conditions, a thin layer of ice, wind, and liquid mud. Although the phenomenon had been recorded before, 2014 marked the definitive explanation of its nature. The giant rogue wave that spun a ship occurred in 1933 with the Japanese tanker SS Sanriku Maru. A 34-meter wave struck the ship, but instead of sinking it, spun the vessel in a spiral and returned it to its original position. The crew survived and the ship remained afloat. This is the only documented case of a ship surviving such a massive wave without serious damage. The longest tennis match in history, played in 2010 at Wimbledon, was a unique event. American John Isner and Frenchman Nicolas Mahut played for 11 hours and 5 minutes, stretching the match over 3 days. The fifth set ended 70-68 in favour of Isner, setting a record not only for match duration, but also for the number of games in a single set. This event inspired organisers to change the rules to prevent such lengthy matches in the future. The first space abduction of people, which occurred in 1978 in Argentina, was a unique case. Farmer Juan Pereira claimed he and his wife were abducted by a UFO. The uniqueness of the case lies in the fact that they described identical events despite being in different locations. This case remains a mystery and a subject of study for ufologists. The purple sand dunes discovered on Mars in 2017 by the Curiosity rover marked the first time such unusually coloured dunes were recorded on the planet. Scientists believe the unusual hue is due to high concentrations of minerals and metal oxides in the sand. This discovery has attracted the attention of scientists dreaming of one day collecting samples from the planet. The ice bridge built in 2002 in Canada was a unique engineering project. Engineers constructed a bridge across the St. Lawrence River using a technology that involved adding sawdust to ice to increase its strength. The bridge stood for only a month but supported trucks weighing up to 40 tons. This became a striking example of using natural materials in engineering. The only officially recorded fire rainbow, observed in 2006 in Washington State, USA, was a rare atmospheric phenomenon. This colourful halo appears in the sky when sunlight refracts through ice crystals in clouds. The phenomenon was so rare and beautiful that thousands of people flooded social media with its photos. The explosion that unveiled a new chemical element occurred in 1937 in Lake Mary, USA. An explosion at a chemical plant led to the discovery of francium. Although francium had been detected in Labora, Huaytatoa, the explosion confirmed its existence in nature. The first and only prison in the clouds, created in 1946 during World War II, was a unique case. American forces captured a Japanese airship used as a flying prison. The prison existed for only a few months, but this episode remains the only one of its kind in history. The day Mount Everest became the tallest, then second, occurred in 1955. Thanks to improved cartography methods, Everest's height was officially recorded as 8,848 metres, making it the world's highest peak. However, in 2020, scientists confirmed that Everest had grown by 86 centimetres, prompting a re-evaluation of other mountains' heights. This event became the only measuring competition in history. The shortest battle in history, which took place in 1896 between Britain and Zanzibar, lasted only 38 minutes. The British fleet bombarded Zanzibar's capital, destroying the royal palace and the enemy fleet. After 38 minutes, the Sultan surrendered. This curious case is considered an example of the diplomatic and military power of the imperial era, the star that exploded twice. Recorded by astronomers in 2005, was a unique phenomenon. A star located 500 million light-years from Earth experienced 2 supernova explosions several years apart. This phenomenon, dubbed the zombie star, remains a mystery. The only recorded fall of an angel, which occurred in 1553 in London, was a mystical event. Workers building St. Paul's Cathedral allegedly witnessed a winged human figure surrounded by light falling from the sky. This event was documented but never explained. The stone rain in Sri Lanka in 2012 was a rare phenomenon. Locals described it as small projectiles falling from the sky but causing no harm. Scientists believe it may have been related to a meteorite exploding in the upper atmosphere. The mystery of the light on the dark side of the moon, recorded by the Clementine probe in 1994, remains unsolved. The probe detected unusual flashes of light on the moon's dark side that lasted several seconds. To this day, there is no definitive explanation for this phenomenon. The miracle of the sun in Fatima on October 13, 1917, became one of the most famous religious events. Thousands witnessed the sun spinning, changing colours and dancing in the sky. This event remains a subject of debate between believers and skeptics. The battle with an octopus, which occurred in 1949 in New Zealand's Marlborough Sounds, is the only recorded case of a giant octopus attacking a human. Diver Lincoln Holmes managed to free himself from the creature, whose tentacles spanned over 4 meters. But the incident remains a rare account of such an attack. The glowing tsunami in Japan in 1958 was a unique phenomenon. The water shimmered with bright green and blue lights, creating a mesmerizing spectacle. Scientists suggested it may have been caused by bioluminescent microorganisms brought to the surface from the ocean depths. The sky falling on Australia occurred on November 3, 1979. Residents of Esperance witnessed debris from the Skylab space station falling from the sky. This was the first and only time an entire town was bombarded by space debris. The fog that killed a city occurred in December 1952 in London. The Great Smog mixed with coal smoke and engulfed the city. Over 5 days, around 12,000 people died from the suffocating air. This event led to a re-evaluation of environmental policies in the UK. The appearance of the green sun, observed in 1883 after the eruption of Krakatoa, was a unique atmospheric phenomenon. Volcanic ash enveloped the Earth, refracting sunlight and turning the sun green. This phenomenon was observed for about 3 months and has never been repeated. We hope this episode brought you new knowledge and inspiration. Share your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss the next fascinating stories. Until next time.